Nice, much better. So, hi, welcome to the event today. How's everyone today feeling today? Good? Yeah, that's good. So, I'm Ethan. I'll be helping out with the MC today. So, did everyone enjoy the food outside? Was it okay? Was there enough food? Yeah, that's great. Okay, so without further ado, let's start by the agenda, I guess. So, first things, has everyone joined the iOS Desktop Discord? You can scan the QR code over there or like use the Discord link, but there's a QR code. So just scan the QR code and just join up the Discord so you can get notified if we have any other events. Yeah. So hello, welcome to Rakuten. Thank you to Rakuten Asia for sponsoring the venue and the food for us today. Yeah, so today we'll start off with a simple short introduction by Rakuten about what do they do and the organization itself, followed by two amazing presentations by Don Chia, which is actually a 2 times WWDC scholarship winner. So if anyone is interested in winning the Swift Student Challenge or is trying to win the Swift Student Challenge, you can always approach him for tips, I guess. I think he'll be happy to share with you some tips. So he'll be talking about SwiftData and how to add it into your app. And then you have another presentation by Philby, who is a senior mobile engineer at Rakuten, which will be talking to us about trying visionOS and creating your visionOS apps using UIKit. So yeah, without further ado, can I get Zoe to come and talk about their Rakuten? Yay!
I just need to press up and down, right?
Okay. Are we screen sharing this? Yeah. It is shouting. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Sure. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so I'm actually from Rakuten Asia. My name is Zoe. I'm part of the talent acquisition team. So I think I'll just take 5 minutes to share a little bit about our organization. So generally, Rakuten Asia, right, we are actually part of the global expansions of Rakuten, which is headquartered in Japan, Tokyo. So Rakuten in general is an internet company that is we do have a lot of different businesses. So as you can see from here, we have Rakuten, Wiki, Travel, Bible, Advertising, and a lot more. So this is just a very quick overview of all our business here located in Singapore. So I think you can just maybe take a while to read through. So some of our bigger businesses would actually include like Rakuten Advertising, which is a marketing solution company. We also have Rakuten Symphony, which is actually a mobile arm, and also Rakuten Wiki, which is one of our streaming platforms. So a little bit about our philosophy is that we do want to contribute to society by creating value through innovation and entrepreneurship, and also to aim to be a global innovation company. So in order to shape the future, so we do invest quite a lot into innovative technologies, empowering employees, and also a lot of green initiatives. So as part of our global expansion, we do have various partnerships with global brands such as like Rakuten Kobe, Rakuten Eagles, and even KonMari. So going a little bit into our culture, so we do value the spirit of entrepreneurship, ambition, and also a sense of unity. And here are some of the events that we actually recently organized. So on a monthly basis, we actually do partner up with various meetup groups to arrange like tech talks similar to what you experienced today. Apart from, we also do participate with hackathons such as Hack Social. And for social events, we do run quite a number of social events internally for our employee, such as Chinese New Year celebration. We also participated in Wheeling as part of charity, and also organized like tennis competitions and sports day. So this is the end. If you'd like to connect, here's our social media handles, and also you can scan the QR code for any job opportunities. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Zoe, for that presentation about Rakuten, and now we know what they do. So, next up, can we have Dawn to come up and share about? Yeah, so we're sharing more about SwiftData and how they can use it in your app. Just add it, yeah.
Like to Apple TV, it's demo. Oh, okay. Are you on Zoom?
What? Oh,
You're on Zoom.
wait, I got thing to. I'm gonna send you the Zoom like that. Sorry, we're having some technical difficulties. Demo, right? Yeah. Oh. 8773.
Yeah, don't try to connect. Are you on Zoom?
Yeah.
Yes, it's on Zoom. No, did you join this? No, I'm not. I'm not trying to Give us a minute.
Just turn the airdrop.
Yeah.
Airdrop in Mac.
Turn on the Mac so you can open Zoom. Oh, which is your device? What? Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that. We have a little bit of a technical difficulties, as you can tell.
No, you want to share a bit more
Huh?
about yourself?
Sure. Hold on, actually, I have it in the script though. That's
Oh, are we to accept the?
I can do it.
Okay.
Okay, I try
Have
to
you
join the computer.
I mean, I guess I'm just a classic student and learning on iOS, helping out with various iOS stuff. As you can tell, my juniors from SST are just behind waving. So yeah, I'm just trying to help out learning Swift. So yeah. Okay. Okay.
Oh, this one I just used.
Er,
No, you can't.
Okay, nice.
Yep.
Just put it on top. Hi guys, so sorry for the technical difficulties. So today I'm actually presenting on something called SwiftData. SwiftData is this new core data framework that Apple has introduced this year at WWDC 2023. So I'm glad to see you all here. I'm Don, and I have to start by expressing my gratitude for your presence at this month's iOS Dev Scout meetup. And I'd like to say hello to everyone here, and also to my developer friends who have actually turned up to support my presentation on SwiftData. This year's WWDC was exceptionally exciting, and I know this for sure because I was there to witness it for myself. So Vision Pro took the community by storm, and I was fortunate enough to have had the opportunity to try it myself a couple of weeks ago at the developer session. Actually, I still have the security tape they put over my camera on the MacBook, and I didn't remove it as a souvenir. So it is truly the future of computing, and I am definitely excited to target the new platform. However, as Vision Pro takes up most of the developer spotlight, a less exciting but arguably equally impactful release occurred under our noses. SwiftData, a framework built on top of core data, was released, targeting iOS 17 and equivalent OS releases for the various Apple platforms, including Vision Pro.
So today I'll be presenting a simple introduction to SwiftData through a short live coding walkthrough, as well as some explanations on the macro that involved in the SwiftData framework. So a little bit about me. I'm a NSF this year. I'm still 20, and I took H2 computing. Actually, I came down from a chalet, a Koi Cohesion chalet. So I traveled all the way from Changi actually. So right now, I thought they might be watching me because I thought there'll be a YouTube link, but I didn't send them the Zoom link, so they're not watching me. So a little bit of another fun fact is I like vintage cameras. I like collecting them from brands such as Leica and Rolleiflexes. I like analog photography so much that I even built an app for it. And this part is where I'll say hi to my developers who are my fellow developers who are watching, but again, I didn't send the Zoom link. So yeah, they are from the US and Australia, and they have been supporting me for almost 3 years now on this passion project of mine where we developed an app for analog photographers. So I'm also a full stack web and app developer, iOS developer. My favorite web stack would probably be something along the lines of Vue.js with Tailwind CSS and something Python for the backend, as well as SQL. SQL is the greatest. So here's me at the Steve Jobs Theater in California this year, where in the basement they actually held the Vision Pro display, and they actually let us take a look at it. So I was this year I was fortunate enough to be actually selected to attend the Apple WWDC in person in Cupertino, California this year. So here are my here are more photos of WWDC this year. This is actually Apple Park taken on Actachrome slide film, and actually here is my favorite moment from California where I met Marcus Brownlee in a random in and out. So I think a lot of developers have met Tim Cook, but I don't think many developers actually met Marcus Brownlee. So I was just eating lunch at In and Out, and he walked in. I sat there, and I was very excited. But then I waited for him to finish his lunch first, and I actually disturbed him. So yeah, this is a great conversation starter with random techies. Sorry. Oh, you also did that. Okay, so I'm not that unique actually. Okay, I'm not that special snowflake anymore then. Do you get a picture? Oh, you did. Okay, I get it. Oh crap! So it was the same day as well. Wait, Palo Alto as well?
We met him at an In-N-Out. He was having a burger with his team.
I think that means we were the same In and Out then. Okay, yeah, but finally, I'm also a two-time WWDC SwiftData Challenge winner in 2021 and 2022. 2021, I was in JC, and 2022, I won it while in NS. So, okay, enough about myself. Let's talk about SwiftData. So, to begin, let's discuss about what SwiftData is. And in Apple's own words, SwiftData is a new framework released by Apple, and it is a way to feature the declarative syntax to create our data models and relationships between models, and it will be inferred by SwiftData for you with a variety of declarations that Apple have made available for developers to use, of which I'll be going through a couple of them myself later. So SwiftData is a way to create persistence of data. It builds custom schemas and using your models and maps that fuse to underlying storage that are then fetched from the database when needed and automatically saved for you. So SwiftData is also a way to use Swift native predicates to SwiftData is a way to easily integrate into SwiftUI code as they work together to provide live updates to views when underlying data changes without the need to manually refresh results. SwiftData is also a way to actually use Swift native predicates to filter and query your data. It is also a way to integrate cloud kit syncing to your app. However, we'll not be diving into that topic this session, as is I don't think I have time to do that. So finally, SwiftData is also a way to build on top of your existing core data app. But actually, fun fact is that I don't actually know core data. So I think this is like a perspective of someone who doesn't actually know core data, and I'll be creating an entire new app using SwiftData to show you how simple it actually will be. So yeah, the app that I'll be presenting would be entirely new and without the use of core data. It will just be SwiftUI and SwiftData. So I'll be actually coding up a simple CRUD app, create, read, update, and delete app using prominent new macros. They are namely the model macro, query macro, attribute macro, and relationship macro. So the app will be a simple note-taking app that will feature folders with notes inside each folder, kind of like the Notes app from Apple iOS themselves. The app will work on the one-to-many relationship, as one folder will actually hold many files. If you're familiar with the concept of ER diagrams and things like that. So it'll be compatible with iOS and iPadOS, and it will technically run on macOS as well as the Vision Pro using the iPad feature. Yeah. So what is required to start this project and SwiftData projects in general? You will need to have the latest Xcode 15 beta. I'm not sure what beta I'm using. I didn't update to the newest one recently. And an iOS 17 beta device or simulator. A lot of patience because the beta breaks SwiftData every time I try it. Every new beta actually breaks SwiftData. So every time I compile, something just doesn't work when I update my beta version. So another thing that would be nice to have is some theoretical understanding of entity relationship models for database structures. So now I will actually do the coding. Possibly just talk without the mic. I don't know. Oh, you need the mic. Okay. Wait, give me a second. Okay, so I'll create a new project first. But this is quite tough. The display. Yeah. And is this okay? Right? Wait, I have a. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, can you hear me? This is okay? I think it should be fine, right? Okay. So I'll actually start by creating my demo app, the Notes demo, and basically, wait, sorry, this is. I'll create a new platform for iOS. That was Vision Pro. Okay, so demo Notes, and I'll actually use storage SwiftData. So this is a pure SwiftData app that does not use core data. So let's save this to here first. And now Xcode will actually create my app. Okay. So for a start, we will actually create the models so that I can demonstrate how simple it is to actually create all these models for your SwiftData app. So we can. Okay. So we can create a file. Wait, is it okay? So we can have a folder file first. And over here, we will start off by actually importing SwiftData. Okay. And we would use this macro at model to actually declare our model. And then we will have a final class. So yeah, sorry.
Command plus a bit.
Oh, command plus. Oh, okay. Okay. So we'll actually declare a class first called folder. So this is the folder to actually hold on to all our nodes. So we'll start with a variable, a UUID variable, UUID, and then we have like something called a last modified. So I'll actually explain later why this last modified is required. So it's to simulate how a iOS Note app looks like. So over here, we will actually have the last modifier as a date item here, and then we will actually use this macro now at attribute dot unique. So this attribute actually allows a variable that you want in your model to be unique. So we'll have a unique folder name in this case. So the folder name of type string. And in this case, we would actually create a relationship between our folder and a nodes model, which we will create later. And we'll use this delete rule called dot cascade. So this cascade rule essentially deletes your folder and all nodes inside your folder later on. And we would actually have a var nodes, and it will be an array of nodes, which we'll create in a bit. And we actually have to initialize all these items. So last modified would have to be a date, a folder name, a string, and we will actually just self.uid equals uid. Give me a second. So, and in this case, you can see that when we are creating our model, we will actually have to initialize all the variables. And self.nodes would be simply like this, an array or an empty array. So after this, we would actually create our nodes, our node model. So in our node model again, once again, we'll create import SwiftData, and we'll create we'll have an add model, add macro, and a class of node, and UUID again. We have a content. So each node will have its own content. So a content basically is like what you want to type inside the node file itself. So it'll be a string type. And we'll actually create this its favorite function kind of thing. So you can favorite your node and you can see that you favorited a node. So we can call it its favorite. And it is a Boolean. So true or false, whether it's favorited or not. And then we actually have, again, a last modified to check the time and date that it was modified at. And then we have a folder for. We'll actually basically we have to create a relationship between your folder and your node. So this is actually how you create by declaring a folder, and then we'll attach it to the folder model that is attached to. So once again, we have to initialize everything. So last modified is date folder. We have an empty content because we will actually just initialize it ourselves here. It is a false. We'll assume that its favorited is a false, and then last modified is last modified because we have to modify it later on. And then our folder equals a folder. So this is actually just how you create two models for your declarative way of creating these models for SwiftData. And next up, we'll actually create the views themselves. So we would first start off with the folders view. So the folders view is essentially the content view we have here. So we'll just rename it folders view. And we'll start off by actually, okay, so you can just see that this is our base app that Apple has created for us. And I think we'll start off by creating this environment model context, which I will explain later on how we'll actually use it. So, and we'll have to create a couple of queries for the folder. So in SwiftData, you actually have to query this our models to see what we have in our database. So we'll have I was actually informed that doing a live coding isn't such a good idea, and I think I understand why. This is not so easy. I am not this prepared, but I will try my best. I'm so sorry about this. So navigation. Okay, so basically in this app, we will have this. We have to display a list of folders. So in this list, we have a for each folder because we have queried the database for this folder of an array of folder models. So we'll actually pull from the database and inside our app itself. So we will actually create a navigation link for each. So it's a bit abstract right now, but I will run the app in a bit and hopefully it works. But we have no data, but give me a second. Yes, auto completion. Yeah, because those are the styling, so I can't actually do it fast enough, I think. So this is quite a mess because I'm doing it. So we actually have to create the folder each time we want to well demonstrate this folder thing. So we'll actually create this create folder view. And this will be basically some kind of sheet. So we'll have a binding for present sheet, a boolean. And then over here, once again, we actually need to use this environment variable, a model context. So in this case, we'll actually have a navigation stack here, and we have a form, and we will have a text field where we will ask for the folder name, and users will be able to create their own folders essentially, and we will be able to create notes inside the folder. We'll have two toolbar items here. Okay. I think okay. This is a lot tougher than I thought. Okay, so we will actually have to create a folder using the model context that I have declared just now. And inside, we'll actually have create a new folder. We'll create a new folder variable here and essentially this folder. And let's modify. So essentially, you have a date and then a folder name to pass into the folder, though, folder in new folder. And then we will toggle away the sheet after we're done with it. This is what's happening. Scroll. For each, oh yeah, okay, for each folders. Sorry, oh yeah, you're right. Oh my goodness. Okay, I did not realize that. Yeah, because oh my goodness. Okay, don't need any of these here. Present. Okay. I don't know if this will run. Does not. Oh yeah. Sorry. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I am so sorry. I know. Let's see. Cannot disable. I know. I think I know why. It's because I have I made it too complex. Essentially, Okay, you know what? Wait, the preview is quite broken anyway. I couldn't figure out how to use the preview for most of the SwiftData anyway. So okay, you know what? I'll just delete the disable as well because I have some kind of extension for it. Oh yeah. Okay, wait, hold on. Okay, so this is another part where we actually have to yay. So I just made it too difficult for myself as well. So actually you actually have a little container here, and we're supposed to use the correct folder itself here. I believe then it will work. No. Doesn't even show the present. Doesn't even show me my sheet actually. Present. Oh wait, that's because I didn't ask for the sheet to be presented. This is a mild disaster. Okay. Oh yes, okay, it works. Okay, it works. Okay, I don't think you have any clue what I was doing just now, but I promise I'll try to explain the macros and whatever later on. But so essentially you can see that I created the folder using some teamwork here and a couple of lines of code. But we will go on. You know what? I'm just gonna ignore the delete thing for now. We're gonna go on to the notes part. So we will actually just go ahead and create the notes view. We so once again we have to import. We have to in this notes view. We'll actually have to pass the folder, and then we'll have the same environment variable. Okay. This is tough. Oh no, there's like this long sorting thing that I wrote in my script where I'm have to write where I sort the last mod. You know what? I'm going to skip that. Sorry. Yeah, we did. I don't even know why. Okay, but there's too many sortings here. So for folder.nodes, so it's. I thank you all for your attentiveness. I am very nervous here. So navigation link, destination. Even though I'm okay. So what? No. Okay. We will have a swipe action that will actually favorite or delete the node with a swipe action. And again, I have a Okay, think so. Okay, so now we'll create the node. We have a function that creates the node. So we'll create a new variable for let new node, and we'll instantiate to a node. You know what, this one? Okay. So we should get rid of this as well. Okay. Yeah, correct. So we have to have a way to, we need to create the view to actually edit the node itself as well. We'll use this thing called bindable. It's a new property wrapper by for iOS 17 as well, and we actually pass in the node to this view, and we'll have a text editor for this. Oh, so okay, you see the SwiftData actually persisted my data, my folder here, and wow, I cannot find my where is the create node nodes various. Oh, I didn't wait. Yes, the toolbar, correct. The toolbar.
Wow.
Still not there. Okay, let's see what's going on. Did I play under the placement? But I put bottom bar on my. Okay, sure. Trailing would be better though. It's still not there. On the okay, wait. I think it's supposed to be on the correct. Should be on the list, is it? Wait. Okay. Okay. So finally, okay. Okay. Wait. There's another issue here. The navigation split view. Oh, there you go. See, the persistence is there. Okay, finally. So we have the folder, and we will have a number of nodes we have in here. We can create more folders as far as I know, and it works. And you can enter this thing, and you can create new empty nodes. It's supposed to be a lot more fanciful in my code, but I don't think I can figure that out right now. So when you enter, you actually be able to edit the thing, but currently it's pushing it back to the front because of I know why it's because of the navigation split view, I believe. So you know that. Yeah, let's just do that. There you go. So we press back. Yes, it works. Okay, so okay, so I think you had a master class on how not to do live coding in front of a live audience. So you essentially, this is the app. It's supposed to be a lot more complex than that, and it will be on my GitHub, and you can clone it. You know what? Let's just go back to presenting what the macros do. Okay, so let's start off back here again. Okay, that was a masterclass really on how not to do live code programming in front of a crowd. So I apologize for the lack of preparation, I guess, in my point of view. So with the code and app done, let's try and understand some of the core features from SwiftData. Let's start with the model macro. So a model is a macro which will add persistence to your data and to your app, and allows users to define a schema with simple Swift code. So simply annotate a class with add model, and it will add persistence to your app by triggering schema generation. The model macro supports primitive types such as string, integers, booleans, and it also supports complex types that conform to quotable protocol. So this is quite important because when I was creating my own SwiftData app, you can't actually store color types. So you actually have to convert your color type to something like an hex value or an RGB value and store those instead. So just take note of that. So here in our code, you can actually see. Oh, I'm sorry. This is supposed to be the correct slide. So, but here in our code, you can actually see like what we did. So we have we imported SwiftData, and then we annotated our class with add model, and we created a bunch of properties for the node model itself, like UUID, a content, its favorite, last modified, and a folder. So the next part is actually this macro called attribute. The attribute macro essentially allows users to customize the properties inside of a model. Simply annotate the property with attribute to do just that. There are a couple of options you can use in an attribute macro. To make, we can simply pass .unique. We can also pass other properties such as transient. That will actually make the property not persist in the database. Passing spotlight would actually, I believe, Spotlight allow the Apple Spotlight indexing function to work with your data, and encrypt would actually encrypt the data itself. So here's a snippet of the attribute macro being used in our app just now. So the attribute.unique was used on folder name, meaning that when you create a folder with a name that's the same, you'll be rejected by the app itself. You can't actually create two folders with the same name when you use this attribute unique. Let's now take a look at the relationship macro. The relationship macro annotation allows user to create and manage relationships between two different models. There are a couple of arguments one can pass into the relationship macro. However, we'll be focusing on the delete rule argument for this presentation. The delete rule argument actually allows users to pass in cascade, deny, no action, or nullify. So using the rule cascade, cascade will actually delete all models tied to the model that you are deleting. So in our case, deleting a model will actually delete all the nodes within the folder itself. So one-to-many relationship, you actually delete the folder and also all the nodes within it. All the models will just be wiped away. And if you use deny rule, we will actually prevent the deletion of a model if it contains one or more reference to another model. So in our case, assuming we have a folder with one or more node inside the folder, if the delete rule that we use is deny, it will not delete the folder. Apple will actually not allow you to delete the folder because the folder itself is not empty. There are still models that are tied to the folder model itself. So actually, currently there's no, when you delete the folder itself, it will disappear, but you restart the app, it will come back again. So you're supposed to take your own actions in that by using things like a notification, an action alert by itself, and you actually prevent the users from deleting the folder. So using no action as a delete rule will actually ensure that related models are unchanged. It is actually also noted by Apple that if you plan to make use of this rule, there will be a need to ensure that appropriate action is taken on any related models, such as deleting them or nullifying their references to the model being deleted. Else, you might face data with inconsistent state, and it may reference models that do not exist. So basically, in our case, if you delete a folder with this no action, you would actually have all these nodes model just hanging there in limbo, and they just exist, but you didn't delete them. And Apple actually encourages you to actually wipe them out yourself as well. So if you are using this no action delete rule argument, you got to delete all your nodes as well by yourself. So that's where Cascade comes in. But I'm sure there are like instances where you might want to keep holding on to this amount of nodes by itself as a model. And finally, nullify being the default delete rule will simply nullify related model references to the delete model. So in our case, if the folder model is deleted, the nodes model can continue to exist, but they don't reference the folder model anymore. It's a bit abstract to just explain in words, but I think the best way to actually learn about this would be to actually do it yourself and try to code a SwiftData app. So in our case, we actually use this delete rule of Cascade. So essentially, when you delete a folder, all the nodes within the folder, all the nodes models will also be deleted along with the folder. And over here, we have the query property wrapper, which allows users to fetch sets of model with a simple line of code. There are a couple of parameters you can use with the query property wrapper, and we'll take a look at the various parameters the query will accept. They are a bit verbose, and we'll go through them in the next slide. So this is actually a more complex way to write your query for your database. So over here, we're actually querying all the folders, an array of folder models. So basically the first page where we have all the folders. So you can actually pass in a predicate to filter for the folder name itself that contains, let's say, tests. And we can sort the folders that are coming out in the array by their last modified. And we can order them in reverse or in the other way. So this is actually how you will query using the query macro. Okay, we're almost done, don't worry. So finally, we will take a look at, oh wait, that wasn't. We will take a look at the model context, which is an object that allows users to handle data coordination with the model container. Model context is fetched through the use of an environment variable, as I showed just now. And there are a couple of core functions that I'd like to introduce today, which are insert, delete, and save. They are quite literally what they mean though through their names. And insert function will allow users to insert a new instance into the model container, while a delete function will delete the selected instance, and the save function will allow users to manually save data to the model container. So in our code, we actually first create an environment variable for our model container, and afterwards we create a new folder instance. As such, we first create a variable new folder, and we will have it be a folder with instantiate to a folder, and then we actually insert the new folder into the model context simply like that. And then to delete, we'll just use the delete function like that. And I didn't manage to show that because I was in quite a mess just now. But if you want to learn more, you can actually just drop by my GitHub later, and you can take a look at the repo yourself. So that was not the best presentation I've done recent times, but that's about it from me. So the couple of links on the screen right now, my website, my GitHub, and my LinkedIn. Yeah, so that is it. I hope you managed to learn something, but I'm sorry for the live coding was a bit of a mess, but you can actually check out.
Yeah,
oh, thank you, thank you. If you guys thank you. If you guys really want to check out the repo, you can actually check it out on my GitHub, and you might need to run it using. If you're still scanning, you might need to use it running it using like Xcode Beta 6, I think, not the newest one. So because if you use the newest one, it might crash. I'm not sure. I've not tested it yet. Every beta crashes my app. So you can go ahead and scan the GitHub, and this under the public repository, and you can check out my website. It's a very cool recreation of Windows 95 using HTML and Vue.js. Yeah, so that's it. Thank you so much, guys, and for your support and the live coding thing.
Okay, so I hope you have learned something from that. So although it was a little bit of a mishap, but I think we all still learned something and really enjoyed that, right? So let's give another round of applause to Don for. Now I'm gonna pass the time on to Philby who will talk about visionOS and how we can implement it. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. It's good. Yeah. Yeah.
Zoom will have that.
Yeah. Yeah. All good. Do you need the stand? You need a mic stand?
No. I'll just.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Philby. I'm from Rakuten Web Search. I'm a senior mobile engineer from Rakuten Web Search. Rather, I've not prepared a specific slide just to introduce myself, so I'm just going to do it on this slide over here. At Web Search, we focus on providing Rakuten users with access to various Rakuten services right through their daily usage in their web browsers as well itself. Uh, and in the mobile side of web search, we customize the open source Chromium code base to kind of give the users facilities to do this. Today, I'm going to just talk a bit about visionOS. It says hands-on, but I'm not going to be doing any coding session. Props to Don for trying. You actually did quite well. I'll just be going through various the different steps of the process. I would say specifically if you're already having a UIKit app and you want to add support for visionOS, just get your app ready before Vision Pro is out. And so yeah, I'll just go through a few steps that can help you with that. Some of the topics I'll be covering today are, sorry, just give me 1 second. Okay. So some of the topics I'll be covering today are fundamentals of spatial computing. I'll just skim through this for any one who's not initiated with this yet. Some of the interactions that are available, the developer tools that we have when we're developing for visionOS, setting up new as well as existing projects for visionOS. There'll be a short demo video of just a simple UIKit UI and how that looks in visionOS. As well as we'll go through some of the API changes that we need to factor in for our existing UIKit applications. So just going through the fundamentals, windows, volume, spaces, three very important concepts that you need to understand when you are going to deal with visionOS. Windows are basically SwiftUI scenes that can contain traditional as well as 3D content. You can have multiple windows in the same space, which can be resized and repositioned by the user as they desire. And the thing about Windows is they are designed more to be used used by the user in one direction. So even though Vision OS has 3D capabilities, your Windows will be able to show 3D content, but they'll still be preferred. They'll still be usable. Especially the 2D content is going to be when it's facing the user. Obviously, so I'm going to move around as the user changes he's seeing. Moving on to volumes, these are SwiftUI scenes as well that support 2D and 3D content via a real ticket. And these as well share the space along with other apps and other windows and volumes. These can be repositioned and resized just like Windows. The only significant difference being that volumes are integrated well into the 3D space, so you can view it at different angles, and you can interact with it differently in different angles as well. So we'll just talk a bit about spaces right now. Spaces are the field of view around your main app content. So by default, when you launch your application, it's going to be in the shared space. If you want full to give full immersive mode, then you need to actually write code for that. You need to provide the skyboxes and the objects to fill up the entire view. So a shared space is basically where the user will be able to see windows and volumes, but it'll be grounded within the current world, which means he'll also be able to see his surroundings, and he'll be able to place the windows in his surroundings. When you're going into a full space, I would say the benefit of this is it allows you to kind of perform skeletal tracking. So if you want to give your users any provisions of directly interacting with any volumes or any windows, you need to use a full space for that. There are kind of three categories of full space, which we will see a little later when we look at Xcode, which we need to know, which is mixed, progressive, and fully immersive. Mixed is basically you don't want to override anything that the user can see in his surrounding. So in addition to your content, these are still going to see the world as it is. Progressive is when it's going to be starting as pass through, but you're giving the user a choice to change to a fully immersive view. You still need to support fully immersive view because the user can opt in for that. Okay, just going through the interactions that are available to users. So we just need to be aware of these as well. So sorry. Yes. So one is using their eyes. So as users move their eyes around the space, that the focus kind of tracks the eyes, and they'll be using their eyes to focus on different elements within your user interface. If they want to perform like a tap, they can either do that directly by reaching out and touching your window, or they can just look and focus at the element they want to reach out to, and they can just do a tap on their fingers, and that's another way that they can interact with that particular element. We also have to provide support, or rather, we can also provide support for multi-input gestures like zoom, rotate, and drag. One thing that we need to keep in mind is visionOS only supports a maximum of 2 simultaneous touch events. So I'll get into this a little later as well. This is something that we need to keep in mind when we are porting our UIKit apps to visionOS. And lastly, users also expect to be able to provide wireless inputs via gamepads, keyboards, trackpads, if it's applicable to your application. Some of the developer tools that are available to us are Xcode, which have the SwiftUI previews. These are updated to display even reality kit 3D objects. As far as I have tested, these work quite well. Even in the latest beta, they seem to be quite stable, although I didn't have a lot of luck porting in something or other objects that were not part of Apple's resources for some reason, and I pulled in outside USDZ files. It was giving issues, but I guess that could also be because I'm not the most experienced at 3D. So we have Swift UI previews, the simulator, which just like for the iPhone or rather for the iOS, it has input simulations. You have different scenes for day and night, and even other reality kit APIs like bounce, collisions, and surfaces are supported within simulator, so you can use it to test them. As far as instruments go, you can use a reality kit, a trace, which will let you test directional audio as well as entity changes and physics as well. Other than Xcode, which is your primary development tool, when you're working with 3D, you can also use Reality Composer Pro and Unity. Reality Composer Pro just comes as part of Xcode, at least in the beta versions, obviously. So you can access it once you have any of the beta apps, and it's basically for viewing assets, any of your 3D assets individually, or you can even put them together in the scene. Adding particle effects like rain, sparks, audio, as well as standard or custom materials using node graphs. You can you can, once you have these scenes ready, you can export them, you can debug them by themselves outside your application before you actually put it in your application. Okay, all right. So I'll just there's not much to speak about when you're opening a new app. It's just that when you have one of the beta versions of Xcode and you go to create a new application, you're going to see 3 new drop downs over there which are relevant to visionOS. These were just 2 before, but 2 days back there's a beta 7 that's released, which is having 3. So there's 3 now. One is the initial scene, which is either window or volume, as explained before. You also get to choose the space renderer, where you can just say none, and you'll basically be only providing windows and volumes which will be visible in the shared space. You can also choose reality kit or metal. Reality kit is if you just want to use like normal skyboxes or normal objects in your renders, or metal would be if you want a more detailed rendering pipeline. And you can also set up your initial space, which is mixed, progressive, full, as I've explained earlier. Mixed is the user can see his surroundings. Progressive is where he's getting a choice between mixed and full. Okay, so as far as existing using existing apps in visionOS goes, how you'll have to approach that is you need to first go and adding a destination to your Xcode settings of your project. So there's basically 2 that you can use. One is visionOS designed for iPad, and one is just visionOS. visionOS designed for iPad will give it the same look and feel as your app would in an iPad. If you don't support an iPad, that would just be your iPhone view. But it kind of sits out and doesn't really fit into the overall system. And there will be a lot of system compatibilities that you will not get to use in this. Whereas if you use the visionOS destination, you're going to get transparency, glass backgrounds, ornaments, how effects. The only thing you need to know is with all these changes happening to your user interface, you will need to pay attention to background colors, potentially meaning there's more things you need to do to get your app running. I've just taken a short video of just a simple application that I've. Okay. So I've just put together a simple app with a couple of lists and a grid of how it will look when you select a design for iPad. So as you can see, the user is getting a choice to switch between landscape, portrait. We should also be able to rescale it as we need. And we should be able to move it around so you can place it on objects as well. So I think here I'm just showing the 3D aspect of the view. So as you can see, most of the content is still strictly 2D and flat. Just speed this up a bit. So you can see some of the hover effects have come through. That's the collection view. And if you have a simple list view. Okay. So this is when you say when you use the visionOS design for iPad mode. I'll just quickly jump onto the next one. Okay. Yeah. So if you instead go for the visionOS destination just by itself without opting for the iPad mode, then as you can see, it will change the background. It will give you better, more vibrancy, and even the hover effects look better in this way. If you'll also notice, the app the screen kind of scales differently. It's more free flowing now, whereas the previous one was you were restricted in your scaling capabilities. So one thing you'll have to we need to keep in mind with this is any changes to any of the colors and any elements that we had before, especially any statically defined colors. I think here I'm just giving a look through in 3D. Again, not a lot of 3D in this particular view. I will revisit this a simple example in a few slides. That's on. Okay. Okay. Then coming to some of the APIs that you will need to keep an eye on in your existing application. So any UIKit APIs that were deprecated before iOS 14, and if you're still using them, these will not be available. So these are going to be errors which you're going to have to fix. So it's a good time to upgrade. Certain classes like UI device orientation and UI screen are not supported because this is not really compatible with the current hardware of visionOS. Co-location is going to work very similar to macOS, where you will get around 100 meters approximate location. If you are close to your iPhone, though, then you will get a more precise location. So we'll need to keep this in mind when we are integrating, or rather when we are upgrading co-location. If you are using ARKit in your application, then you will have to keep in mind that it's a completely new set of APIs. So you'll not be able to just migrate the old set over here. You'll have to check for hardware configuration and rewrite some of those APIs over there. If you're using AV capture discovery session for a recording, then a microphone is now only going to support just the front, whereas in the camera, the front camera is only going to be available if the user has set up a persona, but otherwise that's not going to be available. And the back camera is technically accessible to developers, but it's not going to give you any frames when you try it. If you're using route pickers, picture-in-picture, that's not going to be supported in visionOS either. And if you're having any background audio that's playing, you'll have to keep in mind that when the device is removed, it's going to be stopped. Yeah. Okay. Some of the more spatial changes, if you have an existing app targeting UIKit, is there's a new app icon for visionOS. So instead of just having one image that is your app icon, you'll have to divide your image into 3 parts: back, middle, and front. We'll go through a quick demo a little later on for why that is. So that's just to give a vibrant look. When the user focuses on it, it's going to pop out more. Also, it's a good idea to switch to vector images because the user can scale and move further away from his content or move closer. So if you are not using vector images here, your images are more likely going to blur out and not look very pleasing. By default, the apps usually UIKit apps will load in landscape by default, which you can change by using the preferred default orientation. Custom gestures should respect the maximum 2 touches simultaneously. Here, when you're updating your custom gestures, you can use the user interface, the reality user interface idiom, so that you can set a separate, like a different behavior for your iPhone and for visionOS. There are a few other things like look to dictate in the search bar, which you can enable. There's also, you can also customize hover effects using UI hover style. UI view controllers are preferred background style. So this would give you control on how you would want your background to look like. You could give it the glass background, completely hide the background, or just give it an automatic background with the system get choose which will work best. And lastly, like I mentioned, you should try to switch to using semantic colors and fonts. These just look better on glassy surfaces in the day and night scenes. Okay. All right. And beyond this, a few more special changes for UIKit that we can use in spatial changes for visionOS that we can use in UIKit is one of them is ornaments. Basically, it's moving in some of your controls outside the scene, so that gives your main content a little more space, and it puts it right in the front of the user. Most of the UI components or UIKit components will have this by default, and you'll not have to do anything to get it working. But if you are having custom components, you can set up custom ornaments using SwiftUI, using a UI hosting ornament. Presentations, they just behave slightly differently. Any models that you present will push the presenting view controller behind and dim it a little bit. And by default, models will not be, or rather, I would say models will not be dismissible just by tapping outside them, regardless of the property. Another point to keep in mind would be for popovers, if you're having permitted arrow directions, you need to set that to any, as that will look better based on where the user positions your windows. Yes, and finally, yeah, if you need to use a reality kit, you can use the new SwiftUI view called reality view. And if you need to use any of these reality kit code in your or objects in your UI kit code, then you need to use the UI hosting controller. Okay, so here I've just updated the earlier grids and list app to using tab bar, and as you can see on the left hand side, it's just a default tab bar, but the system is now using the ornament, so that allows the content to be front and center, and unless you are specifically focusing on the tab bar, it's just going to minimize and move on side. I think, yeah, it's just, and yeah, the tab bar kind of pops out. So I would say it's good if we keep this in mind and we use ornaments responsibly, because it gives the user easy to access controls just beside the content. Okay, this is just a demo of a volume. This is the sample app as part of the beta 7. So okay. So as you can see, so this is a volume that's having 2D content as well as 3D content. The sphere on top is 3D. If you'll notice that 2D content is not really going to change to where the user switches, whereas the 3D content is more reachable, and the user can interact with it at different angles. I think there was one last part, which is the immersive mode. So here, I've shown a switch to the fully immersive mode, and as you can see now, the user can't really see his surroundings, and he's fully immersed in the app itself. And one last thing that I would like to just showcase over here is just a simple tour of visionOS on the latest simulator. So you can see some of the new components being used, like the tab bar ornaments, and here you can even see like as the user focuses on different apps, how the new app icons kind of pop out. So this is the Photos app, yeah, that uses that's the popover view, also showing the tab bar control. And I think I'll do one on Safari. Yeah. So I've just opened Safari as well. Safari uses a toolbar on the top. As you can see, that's just another variation of an ornament. So that's the how to search. If I'll just take it back there. So the user can input a search your search phrase just by looking at the search bar. Yeah, okay, I think that's it. So that's pretty much all I had for the day. Just I'll just do a quick summary of everything that I covered. I first went through all the fundamentals, just covered the interactions that we have, the development tools that we have at our disposal, uh, how we can get started with new or rather existing apps, especially UIKit apps, the things that we need to keep in mind, any potential pitfalls that could come away, and how to judge our complexity based on the APIs that we need to change, as well as the UI that we need to change. I've done a brief demo of certain UIKit elements and how they look like on visionOS and how we can make them look better. Gone through some of the APIs that we need to change, and also done a quick demo of ornaments and volumes. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that talk about visionOS. That's anyone any questions? Do you want to ask? Anything? No? Yeah. Kai. Hi Kai. Yes,
So while you were talking, I posted. Okay, so while you were talking, I ported one of my apps over to visionOS. The thing is that it looks a little bit funny because it has the white background of an iPad app. So since it's in Swift UI, so technically it could be a native Apple Vision app. However, it does use some libraries that make use of UIKit functions. So would it be possible to have the main app be a native Apple Vision app and then still use libraries that are dependent on UIKit functionality? Huh, okay.
Okay, does anyone else has any questions? Okay, nice. So we'll be doing the Kahoot now. So there'll be a little prize at the end. So yeah, the Kahoot pin is 918371. You can scan the QR code on top as well. Sorry.
In the meantime, if you have any questions, you can just ask them. So, oh, Tim Cook is here. Oh, Tim is here. Okay. Give me 1 second. Let's toss the Safari window up here. Huh? I have no idea. Test. Yeah. That's probably just share. Okay. Is the volume of the Kahoot okay? Okay, I think we will start soon. Oh, there I go. Wait, where's my cursor? So let's get started. I should. Test. Is there any? Okay, no more echo. Great. Okay, so everyone in? Anyone needs more time? Okay, great. Let's get started. So, okay, so this. Wait, I will find the start button. Okay, start. There's no music, it's so sad. Okay, so describe today's meetup in 2 words. So you can just type in your answer and then just submit it. So this is a word cloud. So no points. Oh yeah, we forgot to mention there are prizes. There is a prize. So if you get the highest score, you will get a prize. Okay, 43 answers. 44. Okay. Hey, 2 words. Okay, so I see that we need to implement data validation. Awesome is also 1 word. Okay, so yeah, so it's great that a lot of you enjoyed it. I mean, I love the live coding. It was very fun. It felt like it was now our notes app as well. Okay, so yeah, so I'm glad that a lot of you guys enjoyed it here. The 1 person that said okay, nice. Okay, so next, if I find my cursor. Okay, so this is an actual question. Which year did Apple open its first office in Singapore? National Day edition. Hey, this is National Day edition, so okay, so it is 1981. So 1965 is when Singapore gained independence. 1976 is when Apple was launched. 1981 was when the Singapore office opened. At Ang Mo Kio, I think. Yeah, I think it's still there. It's actually still there. I think UBIS Hub or something. Yeah, and then the rest are random options. If you chose 2023, congrats. If you take a look here, see, I even have references. See, they celebrated 40 years like in 2021. Okay, yeah. So and then I just stole the image. But yeah, so they were manufacturing like Apple IIs here. Okay, so moving on. Finding the cursor is actually very hard. Okay, so add model in SwiftData is an example of a or an. Do you listen in Don's sharing? Or were you too busy helping debug? No, it's actually an example of a struct. So it is a Swift macro. So it's a bit confusing, but Swift macros and property wrappers have roughly the same syntax, but it is in fact a Swift macro. If you go to the documentation, it will say a Swift macro. Okay, so next. Okay, so congrats, Matt. Next. So what was the new AR creation tool released by Apple during WWDC 23? This was also mentioned earlier. Yes, so it was Reality Composer Pro. Reality Composer was launched a couple of years ago. I think it was a pre-COVID thing actually. So Reality Composer Pro came out very recently. So it's quite interesting. If you ever get the chance to try it out, it reminds me a lot of the whole like Unity kind of thing with your whole graphs, your weird graphs thing. Yep. So it is not Blender for that 1 person, but I think Apple is supporting Blender in some way. And Reality Converter is actually a tool by Apple. I don't know if it's in beta or something, but it was released in 2020. So yeah. Reality Converter allows you to take OBJ files or anything else and just export it as a USDC. So it's a macOS app. So congrats, Matt, again, and I guess Braka. Okay, so what does AOUSD stand for? I swear this is related. So AOUSD, it's not in fact Apple's objective universal syntax debugger or Apple optimized universal Swift deployment, both of which are ChatGPT's answers. So it is the Alliance for OpenUSD. So it was created by Apple, Pixar, and a couple of other industry players. So it is my next over here to prove that I researched. Look, so they came up with this alliance for the USD file format. So it's about the USD file format standard and everything. So if you're interested, you can take a look. They have a website apparently, and yeah, because apparently a lot of these companies use the USD file format, and so they made an alliance to standardize it. Okay, moving on. Now I need to find the next button again. Okay, next. Okay, I did it. Oh, Braka, you beat Matt. Okay, next. So, which of the following APIs now require developers to declare a reason? So this was quite recent, actually. Oh, this is multiple choice, by the way. If you submitted too early, that's your problem. You can click multiple and press up. Yeah, so this was announced very recently. So the file stems API, system boot time API, disk space API, active keyboard API, and user default API will soon require a reason if you're uploading an app with it to the App Store. So this is to prevent fingerprinting. You can use this data to track the user across different apps. And Apple cares about privacy. So I think it is one of my sources here. See? I researched. So yeah, so it's really about, making sure that like you don't fingerprint the user across multiple apps, even if they opt out of tracking. So yeah, so take note if you ever have to use those APIs. So next. Oh wow, the leaderboard changed a lot. Congrats to VP, I guess. Okay, multi-select. Which of the following modifiers are deprecated with iOS 17? So iOS 17 deprecated a whole bunch of modifiers. So which of these are there? Okay, so in iOS 17, foreground color is deprecated. You should be using foreground style instead. What the difference is, but I guess foreground style it is. On change off, perform is actually deprecated, and you should be using the on change off initial parameter instead. So this provides the initial value in as an argument in the closure. Accent color is deprecated and replaced with tint. Corner radius is deprecated, and I kind of hate that one because you have to use dot clip shape and then you have to use rounded rectangle, and that is actually what the documentation tells you to do, which feels worse than this. But Anyways, so next. Okay, congrats VP and Matt, I guess. So multi-select. Which resources from Apple can you find information about writing your app's editorial? So is it the human interface guidelines, the developer documentation, the writing guidelines, the Apple style guide, the Apple developer videos, or Apple's YouTube videos? Okay, so it is the human interface guidelines. So the human interface guidelines, I think just about this year, came up with a new section on writing. So it talks about how you can write with your app's voice and everything. The Apple Style Guide talks about how you can write inclusively, as well as how to use the terms like iPhone. I guess it actually tells you how to use that. App developer videos. There is a video on writing from Apple. I think it was WWDC 23. Yep. So next. That was so sad. Okay, so fill in the blanks. I have multiple. Is it iPads, iPad devices, iPad's device. So it is iPad devices. So according to the Apple Style Guide, I have a slide for this I prepared. Wait, here, next. Okay, we see the score. Congrats. Next. So this is what the Apple Style Guide says. So if you have multiple iPad devices, you can see this is the correct one. It is actually a thing. Where is it? Oops, wrong direction. Wrong direction. Yep, right here. So you see over here. So if you're referring to multiple of a trademark, you have to use like a generic term at the end as the plural. So interestingly, if you take a look at all the Apple collateral, you'll never ever see iPads being used as the term. So next. So which new API from Apple released in WWDC 23 allows your app to interact with external hardware? Keyword released in WWDC 23. So that framework is DocKit. So core hardware is not actually a thing. SensorKit is a thing, but it was not released this year. So SensorKit allows you to interact with the sensors on iPhone. Connectivity is not a thing. Core Bluetooth is very old, not new. I guess there's multi-peer connectivity, but it doesn't fit the category at all. Okay, next. Oh wait, oh yeah, right. There's also the DocKit documentation article. See, I researched. So it allows you to interact with external docs. It's quite interesting. There hasn't been like any demos or anything that you can try out, but there was a developer video. So it talks about how you can use external docs and you can control how the doc it could frame people in the video. So if you have a camera-based app, you can use that, I guess. Okay, next. You should really make a keyboard shortcut for the next button. Okay, congrats, VP. Okay, multi-select again. So which views allow you to add 3D content within your Swift UI view for visionOS projects? So is it reality view, 3D model, rotation 3D effect, scene view, or model 3D? Remember, this is multi-select. So reality isn't actually a view. Reality view is a view. 3D model isn't a view. Rotation 3D effect is a modifier. It does not do anything to help your 3D model show up in your app. It rotates your view to make it fancy. Scene view, yes, because you can put a scene kit scene view and it works just as well. And model 3D, which actually comes in the sample code. Okay, so I think that's about it, right? Is that it? Oh wait, no, there's one more question. Okay, so which of the following are new Swift macros, property wrappers, or protocols? So is it binding, bindable, observable, observed object, observable object, or NS object? Yeah, I really just added this because everything sounded the same. So it is bindable and observable. So binding has existed forever, so it's not new. Observed object as well as observable object. NS object is very old. It's like Objective C kind of old. So yeah. Okay, so that's about it. So let's see. So let's see the podium. So congrats to Groot. Congrats to Paka. And congrats to Matt. So where's Matt? Does Matt exist? Oh, you wanna come up here? So Vina will present Matt with the prize, which is an air tag. This is very well planned. Okay, thank you. Okay, so we're not done yet.
So we are going to have a group. We're going to take a group photo. Can everyone try to fill the seats in front? Like there are some empty seats. Can you try to move to the front to fill as much empty seats as you can? And we will.